Someone recently asked me if buying one of my paintings was a good investment. And I thought about it for a long time before I answered it. Because the honest answer is something no gallery, no auction house, no art advisor will ever tell you. And it starts with a refrigerator. I could tell you about art market indexes, action records, the importance of buying blue chip names, but none of that is the answer. Because the painting you're thinking about, it's not a Picasso. I was at the Yale University Art Gallery recently, and I stood in front of one Picasso painting after another. And here's what I felt. I felt disturbed. Those paintings were revolutionary at that time. They broke the world open. I understand why they matter. But standing there, I thought I couldn't live with this. I couldn't wake up and walk past this painting every morning. It will make me feel depressed. And that's not a criticism of Picasso. It is an observation about the difference between what the market calls valuable and what actually makes a home feel like yours. I was watching a Madonna video recently. She owns two Frida Kahlo paintings. And I love Frida, personally. I have so much respect for her as an artist, as a woman, as a human being who turned her pain into something so raw and true that it still shakes people a century later. But her paintings are quite on the dark side. One of them, the one Madonna has, is called My Birth. And that's quite a disturbing painting. It's a painting about how disconnected Frida felt from her own mother. So you could see her mother's head discovered with a shit. Madonna could relate to that. Her mother died when she was young, and that painting spoke directly to her, to wound she carries. But most people couldn't live with this painting, not because they don't understand it, because they do, because it would follow them around the room. Because art is meant to be witnessed, not lived with. The painting you are thinking about is probably not a Picasso, and it's probably not a Frida. It's the one you found on an artist's website at 2 o'clock in the morning. The one you keep going back to look at. The one that cost about the same as a new refrigerator. And the refrigerator will eventually need to be replaced. It will break down, it will get scratched, it will be obsolete in 10 years. A painting can inspire you every single day. Now here's what it gets interesting. That's not a financial argument, it's an emotional one. And I know that some people hear the word emotional and think that means it's not real, that somehow feelings are less valid than spreadsheet projections, that what you can measure is what matters. But I've been watching this for years now. The collectors who buy my work are the ones who reach out, the ones who are happiest years later, the one who still lights up when they talk about the painting on the wall. None of them talk about ROI, return on investment. They talk about how the light hits the painting differently in the morning and how their child asks about it, how they can't explain why it makes them feel something every time they walk past. Here's what I've come to believe about investment. We've been taught to measure it in one direction. Will this thing be worth more money later? And that makes sense. For stocks, for real estate, for things designed to be traded. But art, it's a different kind of asset entirely. It's the only thing you can buy that appreciates in value to you, emotionally, spiritually, daily. The moment you hang it on your wall, you don't have to wait for it to go up in value. It's already giving you returns on day one. A stock certificate doesn't make your living room feel like yours. A mutual fund doesn't stop you in your tracks on the way to the kitchen. A bond doesn't become an heirloom that your grandchildren will fight over. I remember the first original painting I ever bought. I almost talked myself out of it. I told myself all the sensible things. It's too much money, you don't need it, wait for a better time. But I kept going back to look at it. And I asked myself one question. Would I rather have a new appliance that starts depreciating the moment it's delivered, or something that could inspire me every single day for the rest of my life? And I bought the painting. It still watches over my art room as I create. Every time I look at it, it does what no hotel art could ever do. It doesn't decorate the space, it defines it. Now, here's where conversation gets even more interesting. Because right now, in this moment, we're living through something that directly affects the value of original art. And almost nobody's talking about it. AI can now generate images that look like art. Beautiful images, fast and cheap, unlimited. And I talked about it before, why I'm not afraid of that as an artist. But here's the investment angle, the thing nobody has connected yet. When photography was invented in 1839, painters were terrified. They thought painting was dead. What actually happened? Painting didn't die. It became more precious, because once machines could make images, the difference between an image and an experience became blindly clear. You could see it, you could feel it. The same thing is happening right now with AI. When anyone can generate 1,000 images in now, what becomes scarce? What becomes valuable? The same thing that was always the most valuable thing. The taste, the artist's vision, the story behind the painting, the emotion, the human hand, the trembling brushstroke that reveals the artist was feeling something when he was painting it, and he was putting the emotion on the canvas. And decades after that, you still can feel the emotion by looking at a painting. The imperfect line that proves a person was here. If you're thinking about investing in art, this is the most important context I can give you. We're entering the era where original, handmade, emotionally charged art is about to become more valuable, not less. Not because of some market trends, because the contrast between a generated image and a real painting is about to become impossible to ignore. If this is making sense to you, if you're the kind of person who walks into a room and doesn't just look at what's on the wall, but recognizes something in it, then you are in the right place here. Subscribe to this channel so you can follow my artistic journey and those interesting art conversations that we're having on this channel. Because what I am sharing next is about the moment a painting stops being a purchase and starts being a legacy. Here's what nobody in the art community or art world will tell you about investment. They talk about market appreciation. They'll show you chart, but they won't talk about the thing that actually matters the most. When you buy an original painting, you're buying something that will outlive you. That sounds dramatic, But think about it. Your phone is replaced every 2 to 3 years. Your car gets traded in. Your furniture reupholstered or replaced. Even your house, eventually someone else's. But a painting on canvas with layers of paint built up over weeks and months, that can last hundreds of years. The first original painting I bought, I realized something after I hung it. This painting will outlive me. Someday it will belong to someone I haven't even met. A grandchild, or maybe a great-grandchild. Someone who will hold it and think, this was hers. This was the first original painting in our family, and I am the one who started that. That's not a financial return. That's a legacy return. If you're asking whether it will appreciate in dollar value, maybe. If you buy the right artist at the right time, it certainly could happen. And it did happen. Vincent van Gogh sold almost none of his paintings during his lifetime. Today his works are considered priceless masterpieces worth tens of millions of dollars. Sometimes the value of art isn't recognized immediately. Great art often finds its audience in its own time. But nobody can promise you that. And anyone who does is selling you something. But if you're asking whether it will give you a return that changes your daily life, that makes your home feel like yours, that stops you in your tracks on the way to the kitchen, that becomes the first heirloom in your family story, then yes, unapologetically. Because here's what I've come to believe. The question, is art a good investment, is the wrong question. The right question is, what are you actually investing in? A number on a spreadsheet, or a life that feels like yours? A print is a copy of a decision. An original is the decision itself. And that's distinction between a copy and a decision, between an image and an experience, between something that depreciates and something that becomes more meaningful every single day. That's the real ROI of original art. ROI, by the way, guys, return on investment. I sell my originals to collectors who tell me they can't explain why a particular painting stops them in their tracks. They just can't look away. It's not about technique, it's not about trends, it is about resonance. One human soul recognizing another across a canvas. And that has no substitute, no algorithm, no market index, no financial projection can measure it. So I would love to know, have you ever bought an original painting? Did you hesitate? Tell me if you did. And looking back, was it worth it? Tell me your story in the comments below. If you want to see my original artwork, my paintings are created with every brush stroke, every layer, every night color obsession. You can find them at my website, LeClaire.com. And if this resonates with you, subscribe. Join this space where art is not just seen, but experienced. Because what I will be sharing later is about how to find your own painting. The one that was made specially for you. And you won't want to miss it. One of my paintings almost killed me recently, literally. It turned into an experience I'll never forget. It taught me a lesson I didn't expect. If you're curious what happened, you can watch the story, full story right here. And as always, see magic everywhere. All my love. Bye.